Hey guys and girls, it's your friend Randy back in the den, and we're looking at my old friend here, Mr. Ps2, the fat one. Something I wanted to explain before I put this all back together. Kind of goes with my previous video I had where I did the head cleaning and that, or the eyeball cleaning and everything. Basically is what you gotta watch out for putting this back together. I was running it with the tray out of it, also just using the plate that's in here, the metal plate, putting the disc onto the receiver here and playing it that way, which is okay as long as if you have this door tray, you have to disconnect it. Otherwise, this little switch here, I got it marked in red right here, if that is up, or actually it's vice versa, if that is anyhow disconnected, and it would be if when the tray is all the way out, it rides this little rail right here, and it would be disconnected or turned off, basically switched off, if the tray is all the way out. So basically, you got that switch you want to watch out for, and then there's one right here, if you can see. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a zoomage, so you can really see what I'm talking about here. Pretty much you want this guy here, this one right here by my thumb, and then also talking, this is the other switch here, right at the end of my thumb there, that one. So this is the one, this will be covered over here, and basically wanted to show you also the belt. Pretty much the belt tension and that, the best way I found to tell is even how tight it is, whatever. If it falls off, obviously it's not in a good shape. You really gotta just check it for yourself. I always like to use it in what it's used for. Right there, then it's all the pulleys are weighted and everything, so then you can tell. And spin it right from here. You can see it's working fine. It's moving the lever piece. This is the lever that actually rides up inside here. You're actually going to want to put a piece of lube on that, but I'll show you in a second. I always just run it with my finger and just put a little finger pressure on it, and if it keeps spinning like it does, obviously that's a nice strong belt there, you know. But I mean, honestly, touching it like this, it feels a little weak to me, to be honest with you, but honestly it works fine, you know. You figure it's just moving the that tray out, so yeah, it seems to be working just fine. So we'll put that back down. That's about the best way to tell. Then there's one little spot. This thing actually is kind of a little bit weird now. You put this covers your whole belt area, and this actually slides out. Not by itself though. The gear will only run it out so far. It runs it out to there. You want to slide it out the rest of the way when you go to reset in your tray. So basically you line it up here. Put these two screws in first, and obviously these are tiny screws and they're a little tough to play with. So what you're going to want to do is just, what I want to magnetize the end of this, I just take, I got some neodymium magnets here, and just rub them on there. Just rub it, rub it, rub it. And rub it on any type of strong magnet. I used to actually just put little magnets on here, but then if you're into something, then they get caught and pull everything else out, and it gets pretty frustrating. So do it like that. That seems to work pretty good. And we'll put number 1 in, and get number 2 ready. We'll slide the tray in. Now this is actually guided by this little nub right here. This tiny little, right at the end of my screwdriver there, that nub, I've already put some silicone on it, and that nub sticks up into this tray right here. And right where it sticks up, it rides along this tray. I'll show you. Rides along like this and goes right into here. So right there is where it finishes up at, and it rides back down through. So I just put a little lube on it. If you lube the whole thing, I always figure it just holds on to the dust then and junk if you go to blow it out. So at least I got a little lube on the nub there. Obviously, looking at it, you can tell it hasn't been hardly worn or nothing. You know, there's no big rub spots or anything out, wear away spots. So get number 2 screw. These plastic screws now, this is actually goes along with my tip of the day is for plastic screws. A lot of times when you're going to put them in, you're going to want to back them out. Back them out. And all of a sudden you'll feel them click. Even these tiny little screws here, believe it or not, you'll feel it. As long as you're paying attention enough, you'll feel all of a sudden it click. And this is what you got to watch. This nub right here needs to line up in this rack. If it doesn't, you're not going to work. You're going to fight like hell with it, and you're not going to be happy. So I'm going to look down through, and there it's lined up as long as it goes, and there it moves. And you got your anchor piece on the side here. That takes 2 screws, and we're going to push it back. Make sure it goes in all the way. There it goes. Beautiful. I'll put the screw back down. Now again with the plastic, and these are small screws, but I'll spin it, and it's hard. This is a big screwdriver here. Right there, did you just hear it? Just bunk. I was right at the edge of it, and then you start spinning the other way, and you actually follow the same threads back down through the channel. That way you're not cutting in new threads, especially with little tiny, I mean these threads here, I mean look at these things. They are absolutely just tiny. So, focus in on it. And if you undo that 2 or 3 times in the wrong thread channel, you're basically just going to end up stripping it out. You just made mincemeat out of all the freaking plastic in there. So, give that a try. There, it just clicked once, so that was here. It's on this side, so we'll see if it clicks when I get back to it. Oh, did it before I got to it. Let me check again. So right here, follow it around. Now once I get to about here, right here. There, just clicked again. Boom, and then screw it in. That way you're not cross-threading it. If it starts going one turn, then over a turn you start tightening up, you know something ain't right. You know, it shouldn't go in that tight. So also with using a big screwdriver, this has got a big handle on it. You know, you got to be a little careful tightening down. You want to be real delicate because you could easily strip these tiny screws out. And let's see, got that. I already went through and did the lube on these 2 rails here. You want to get each of them lubed up well. They are down in there, and that's where your carriage rides. As the machine sets up and accepts the CD, then it brings the head up into it to observe it. So let's see here, got my side piece anchored down. I did this so I won't have it flopping around. The thing looks like it's been through a couple fights. Got some stitches. It's rough looking. I can't believe it's that bad looking, to be honest with you, but just try to be delicate with it. Now we'll put our cap back on. You got to make sure you got this center piece in here. This contains a piece of metal, and when this receiver, the carriage head here, has a magnet, a very strong neodymium magnet right there. And when that comes up and the CD's in there, it actually attaches to this. And just the magnetism holds it, sucks it like tight to the CD also, and then it spins. Like I said, again, if you see my last video on the PlayStation, on the cleaning, I actually had the tray out, the top off, and just this in my hands. You just pop this out of here, pop it out of one corner, and you hold it, and I just put the CD on, and then just pop that on top. You'll see it sucks it right down. Does the same when the CD's in there. And again, that's with the tray out, so make sure you put that in the right way. pop it back down, make sure it's happy. Got to keep these things happy as long as they're happy. That's a big part of it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 screws there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get this. Then you ain't got too much to it after you get this mounted down. You got right there. You gotta just put the covering over it, but there is a screw you gotta watch for, the screw that holds this onto your covering. So you gotta put that on before you actually go to put everything else on. So I'll finish this up so you guys ain't gotta be. Okay, guys, just wrapping up that last screw on the top here. Then you're gonna want to find this, how it goes on. Again, the front definitely bulges out here, so you kind of got to lay it on the front where the receiving tray is, and then flop it over. But first off, you got to remember to put this piece on. So this fits up in here. Get up in there right. Then I'm gonna have to dig around to find the screw. I thought I had the screw already mounted in it, which I'm surprised that's what I usually do. Put the holes up. See if I can help this ribbon out. That's what I'd really like to do. So I'll figure out how to stop it from getting all wrinkled. There ain't much I can do with it. There it is. Dang. Well, I'm surprised they don't have a better way to fit that in there, but I can't complain. That is they're a pretty sweet unit. Let's see. I believe one of the screws is right here. 1, 2. Actually sits on a peg down inside there. Makes it a lot nicer. I am pretty sure this is not the right screw. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it just ain't feeling right. Should be putting it down tight. Let me find the screw. Always a screw. Okay, found the screw. I ended up rerouting the ribbon. Had a little spot in this corner of that, so it actually runs to the back and then comes out the side. And once I flip this over onto it, that'll just tuck in there and make that ribbon ride a lot better. So it wasn't like that when I originally took it apart, but I took a look at it and it seemed like a lot better fix. And yeah, it rides up a lot snugger. Makes it a lot better fit than what it was, and I like that. And there's a pin also back in here, and you'll see one on the side. That's the one I was focusing on, but it just didn't want to fit down tight and right. You got to just tuck in the back of it. Just push it in that way. That pin right there, it's at the bottom of my screwdriver here, and that pin will get you. So then make sure your ribbon, bring it up so you can see it. Actually, with that ribbon tucked in there, it gives it some strain relief then, which is something that's always nice, especially if you're going to try to work on it without taking that off. If you wanted to open it up quick and clean it out, blow it out. And then the other thing is make sure your ribbon comes up and tucks right into here, and then the two ears right here and here. Just go into it sideways, pop it in. That's going to want to pop out, isn't it? Ribbon's bent the wrong way. And that fits up in there. Again, just do the front first. Front to back. Just remember that, front to back. It's on, but it ain't. Something is just not copacetic. Unless it does fit down that tight. Seems like something's hanging up. Double check, make sure it ain't that ribbon hanging on something. Oh, the ribbon looks good there. On top it's... Oh. Man, that darn ribbon. That is just a bad setup there. Let me try that again. Try to have it bend off this way. So bent up it wants to go the other way. Give this a spin. There we go. Oh yeah. Ooh, wants to go right together now. Beautiful. Yep, that's pretty much it. Then set her down. You got your 6 screws here. And 2 screws, smaller ones on the outside. I actually got, this will be my tip of the day too. I'll throw this in. I guess it'll be a double tip. The one is your, typically your plastic cutting screws look more like this. They're called self-tapping. They're usually used in plastic, I mean. And these are used to, usually it's set up, the hole is already there, then you put this, and then this cuts through. The threads are actually fatter than what the shank is, and it actually cuts into the plastic, into it when they put it in the factory for the first time. So basically is what we're doing, you're following the same threads back out, and when you go to put it back in, you want again to make sure that they line up. Again, by backing it out, just set it on, turn it, you'll feel it right away. We just set it down. We don't know where it's going to click or nothing. Oh, I think it just did. Not sure though. Oh, I got like 4 clicks. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I don't know why it's clicking so much. Might not even be centered, so I got to make sure here. Yeah, right there. So along with that tip is my second tip for the day, and just taking the screws out in that. Where I mixed up there and thought I had the screw, it was the wrong screw. No, actually I had the right screw, but I actually had my screws separated while I was doing this to keep them apart. And usually I even go through and label, especially something that could be apart for a while. When you come back, sometimes you'll forget about this and that, and Lord knows I forget stuff all the time, so try to keep as much paid attention as you can, but sometimes you just simply forget even something simple. But having the screws laid out, I use a little tray for this. I also use, actually I got it over here for something else, believe it or not, it's a muffin tray, and I just got all kinds of different parts in here. This is a whole bunch of different things I've been working on. These are just pins I took out of something, and just to keep everything separate. Again, the size is all about how big everything is. I got different size muffin trays, but they work really good. And to label it, you don't care if you have to write next to each one. It's so simple writing on it. It's not like you're the the writing's there for you, you know, make best use of it. Write on what each piece goes to. If it's really complicated as you're going, if you don't have a video like I do here going, just snap little pictures as you're going. And that way you can always look back in your phone quick and tell right where you're at. So, hope this has been a good video for you guys. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If not, I totally understand. Just leave me a comment, though, what you liked or what you didn't like. And I'll work on getting better at it. Because I'll tell you right now, I plan on doing videos for a long time here. It's something I enjoy. And the whole electronics thing, the whole thing has been a ride for me. I absolutely love it to death. And I plan on doing this for a long time and learning every day, learning more, and hopefully doing more videos to maybe teach a little more. But anything you think would help, definitely feel free. Yeah, I'll definitely pay attention to it and do my best to put out the best videos that I can for both of us. That way you guys can enjoy them and I can actually maybe be successful someday at this. But I'll take maybe a little comment or something. But I appreciate you guys watching. Very much appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Thanks a lot, guys.